Coming out of The Killing of a Sacred Deer, I had pretty much the same reaction I had when I came out of Yorgos Lanthimos' previous film, The Lobster, which was, what the fuck? At least he's consistent. So Colin Farrell is a doctor called Steve. He's married to Anna, who's played by Nicole Kidman. They've got 2 teenage kids called Kim and Bob, played by Rafi Cassidy and Sonny Suljic. He's got a pretty sweet life, but he's kind of been stalked by the son of a former patient who died in his care. Barry Keoghan plays the kid Martin with an odd sense of detachment that kind of makes you think maybe there's something mentally wrong with him, but you're not quite sure. Anyway, when Steve gets fed up of Martin constantly showing up at his work, he actively avoids him, but then out of nowhere, his son Bob develops paralysis and can no longer walk. Martin then confronts Steve and says he's the reason behind it, and that if he doesn't cooperate, the same thing will happen to his daughter and his wife, and it will steadily get worse until it kills them. However, he gives him a choice and says if Steve kills one of the 3, the other 2 can live. So the story itself is kind of like a modern day version of Iphigenia at Aulis by Euripides. So Colin Farrell is like the Agamemnon of this story who must do unthinkable things that no father ever would. But instead of killing a sacred deer like Agamemnon, Steve killed a weirdo's father and now he's got to pay the price. A Greek tragedy now done by a Greek art house filmmaker. Match made in heaven, am I right? So guys, I loved Lanthimos' previous film, The Lobster. I thought it was a sharp, darkly funny commentary on the societal pressure to try and find a mate. It had something really clever to say, and The Killing of a Sacred Deer is unique and different, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I did with The Lobster. There's always a malaise with Lanthimos' work which I really admire, because he never likes you to be comfortable whilst you're watching. All the elements of The Killing of a Sacred Deer are carefully crafted in order to make you feel anxious and uneasy. Lanthimos and Efthymios Philippou's dialogue is quite cold and blunt, and the actors often deliver the words with very little emotion, so it makes us as the audience feel very uncomfortable. Lanthimos uses a lot of long, lingering takes, so it kind of makes us feel like we're involved in the awkwardness. And even little things like watching Nicole Kidman floss her teeth are just genius, intimate little touches that make your skin crawl. There's an eerie quality about this film that's similar to the work of early Polanski. The colouring of this film also has an interesting juxtaposition because Lanthimos uses a lot of sterile whites, but he also uses a lot of muted greens, browns, and greys. So there's no middle ground. It's either really cold or really grim or both. There's a nightmarish quality about The Killing of a Sacred Deer because it's a bit surreal, but it's never too absurd. So it's darkly funny and scary, but in a psychological way. The family paying for the sins of the father is a fascinating concept, and this is a film that does get you talking. It also has something to say about grief and retribution and how actions do have consequences. The performances are terrific, particularly from Farrell and Kidman. Watch out for Barry Keoghan, he's certainly a star on the rise, what with having The Killing of a Sacred Deer and Dunkirk both in the same year. So yeah, he's doing alright for himself. So guys, to conclude, The Killing of a Sacred Deer is a daring film which is an exercise in unsettling discomfort for the viewer. It's a gamble that has certainly paid off for Lanthimos, and whilst it does go to places that most directors wouldn't dare to explore, it isn't quite as captivating or doesn't have as much to say as The Lobster. So guys, I'm gonna give The Killing of a Sacred Deer a 7 out of 10. If you guys are in need of a horror film to watch this Halloween, I strongly recommend this one. I promise you, this will test your comfort zone more than Jigsaw would. Quick question for you guys, have you seen The Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster? If so, which do you think is the better of the two? Because I'm quite curious to see. Whatever you think, you can let me know in the comments section below, or you can tweet me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, guys. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hearfield, and I'll see you next time.